Good wishes to all of you. An Introduction to Indian Art Part 1 Textbook in Fine Arts for Class 11. Chapter 8 Some Aspects of Indo Islamic Architecture Audiobook. Qutub Minar, Delhi. In the 7th and 18th century CE, Islam spread towards Spain and India. Islam came to India, particularly with Muslim merchants, traders, holy men, and conquerors over the passage of 600 years. Although by the 8th century CE, Muslims had begun to construct to Sindh, Gujarat, etc. It was only in the early 13th century that large scale building activity began under the Delhi Sultanate established after the Turkish conquest of northern India. By the 12th century, India was already familiar with monumental construction in grandiose settings. Certain techniques and embellishments were prevalent and popular, such as the interpretation brackets, pillars, and lintels to support a flat roof or a small shadow dome, while arches were shaped in wood and stone. These were unable to bear the weight of the top structure. Now, however, the architect form of construction was introduced gradually in which arches could support the weight of the domes. Such arches needed to be constructed with Voisers series of interlocking blocks and fitted with keystones, the domes resting on pandatives and squinches enabled spanning of large spaces, leaving the interiors free of pillars. A noteworthy aspect of these migrants and conquests was that Muslims absorbed many features of local cultures and traditions and combined them with their own architectural practices. Thus, in the field of architecture, a mix of many structural techniques, stylish shapes, and surface decorations came about through constant interventions of acceptance, rejection, or modification of architectural elements. These architectural entities or categories showcasing multiple styles are known as Indo Saracenic or Indo Islamic architecture. Hindu conceived manifestation of God everywhere in multiple forms as part of their religious faith, whereas Muslims thought of only one with Muhammad as their prophet. Hence, Hindus adorned all surfaces with sculptures and paintings. Muslims, forbidden to replicate living forms on any surface, developed their religious art and architecture consisting of the arts of Arabesque, geometric patterns, and calligraphy on plaster and stone. Take a look at this illustration. Intricate jali work, Amar Fort, Jaipur. Typologies or structures. Keeping in mind religious and secular necessities, architectural buildings like mosques for daily prayers, the Jama Masjid, tombs, dargahs, miners, hammams, formally laid out gardens, madrasas, sarais or caravansaries, cosminars, etc., were constructed over a period of time. These were thus additions in these existing types of building in the subcontinent. Architectural edifices, edifices in the Indian subcontinent, as elsewhere in the world, were constructed by wealthy people. They were in descending order. Rulers and nobles and their families, guilds, rural elite, and devotees of a cult. In spite of the obvious Saracenic, Persian, and Turkish influences, Indo Islamic structures were heavily influenced by prevailing sensibilities of Indian architectural and decorative forms. A lot depended on the availability of materials, limitations of resources, and skills, and the sense of aesthetic of the patrons. Although religion and religiosity were very important to people of medieval India, as elsewhere they borrowed architectural elements liberally. Categories of styles. The study of Indo Islamic architecture is conventionally categorized into the imperial style Delhi Sultanate, the provincial style Mandu, Gujarat, Bengal, and Jaunpur, the Mughal style Delhi, Agra, and Lahore, and the Deccani style Bijapur, Golconda. These categories help in understanding better the specificities of architectural styles rather than putting them in immutable slots. Architectural influences. Take a look at this illustration. Dado panel on the wall, Agra. Petra Jura work, Agra. Architectural influences. Among provincial styles, the architecture of Bengal and Jaunpur is regarded as distinct. Gujarat was said to have a markedly regional character for patterns borrowed elements from regional temple traditions such as toranas, lintels in mihrabs, carvings of bell and chain motifs, and carved panels depicting trees for tombs, mosques, and dargahs. The 15th century white marble dargah of Sheikh Ahmad Khatu of Sarkej is a good example of provincial style, and it heavily influenced the form and decoration of Mughal tombs. Decorative forms. These forms included designing on plaster through incision or stucco. The designs were either left plain or covered with colors. Motifs were also painted on or carved in stone. These motifs included varieties of flowers, both from the subcontinent and included varieties places outside, particularly Iran. The lotus bud frank was used to great advantage in the inner curves of the arches. Walls were also decorated with cypress, chinar, and other trees, as also with flower vases. Many complex designs of flower motifs decorating the ceilings were also to be found on textiles and carpets. In the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries, tiles were also used to surface the walls and the domes. Popular colors were blue, turquoise, green, and yellow. Subsequently, the techniques of tessellation, mosaic designs, and Petra Jura were made use of for surface decoration, particularly in the dado panels of the walls. At time, lapis lazuli was lazuli was used in the interior walls or on canopies. Other decorations included arabesque calligraphy and high and low relief carving, profuse use of gel. The high relief carving has a three-dimensional look. The arches were plain and squat and sometimes high and pointed. From the 16th century onwards, arches were designed with trefoil or multiple foliations. Spandrels of the arches were decorated with medallions or bosses. The roof was a mix of the central dome and other smaller domes, chhatris, and tiny minarets. The central dome was topped with an inverted lotus flower motifs and a metal or stone pinnacle. Take a look at this illustration. Aerial view, Daulatabad Fort. Materials for construction. The walls in all buildings were extremely thick and were largely constructed of rubble masonry, which was easily available. These walls were then cased over with chunam or limestone plaster or dressed stone. An amazing range of stones were utilized for construction such as quartz, sandstone, buff, marble, etc. Polychrome tiles were used to great advantage to finish the walls. From the beginning of the 17th century, bricks were also used for construction, and these imparted greater flexibility to the structures. In this phase, there was more reliance on local materials. Forts. Building monumental forts with Embattlements was a regular feature in medieval times, often symbolizing the seat of power of a king. When such a fort was captured by an attacking army, the vanquished ruler either lost his complete power or his sovereignty. This was because he had to accept the suzerainty of the victorious king. Some examples of strong, complex edifices which still exercise the imagination of the visitor are the forts of Chittor, Gwalior, Daudabad, earlier known as Devgiri, and Golconda. Commanding heights were utilized to great advantage to construct forts. These heights gave a good perspective of the region, strategic advantage for security, unfettered and unhindered space to make residential and official complexes while simultaneously creating a scene of awe in the people. Other complexities woven into such a topography were concentric, concentric circles of outer walls as in Golconda, so that the enemy had to breach these at all stages before getting in. Gwalior Fort. Daulatabad had several strategic devices to confound the enemy, such as staggered entrances so that gates could not be opened even with the help of elephants. It also had twin forts, one within the other but at a higher elevation and accessed by a complex defense design arrangement. One wrong turn in the labyrinth or a complex pathway could lead to the enemy shoulder going in circles or falling to his death several hundred feet below. The Gwalior fort was invincible because its step height made it impossible to scale. It had many habitations and usages. Babur, who did not find much merit in many things he saw in Hindustan, Hindustan was said to have been overawed at the sight of the Gwalior fort. Chittorgarh bears the distinction of being the large fort in Asia and was occupied types of buildings including stambhas or towers to signify victory and bravery. It was replete with the numerous water bodies. Innumerable acts of heroism have been associated with the principal people in the fort, forming the substance of many a legend. An interesting aspect associated with forts is that within the palace complexes, stylistic and decorative influences were absorbed most liberally. Minars, another form of stamba or tower, was the minar, a common feature in the subcontinent. Too much shrinking minars of medieval times are the Qutub Minar in Delhi and the Chand Minar at Daulatabad. Daulatabad Fort. The everyday use of the minar was for the azan or call to prayer. Its phenomenon height, however, symbolized the might and power of the ruler. The Qutub Minar also came to be associated with the much revered saint of Delhi, Khwaja Qutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. The Qutub Minar, built in the 13th century, is a 234 feet high tapering tower divided into five stories. The minar is a mix of polygonal and circular shapes. It is largely built of red and buff sandstones with some use of marble in the upper stores. It is characterized by highly decorated balconies and bands of inscriptions intertwined with foliated designs. Chand Minar, built in the 15th century, is a 210 feet high tapering tower divided into four stories, painted peach now. Its facade once boasted of chevron patterning on the encastic tile work and bold bands of Quranic verses, although it looked like an Iranian monument, it was the combined handiwork of local architects with those from Delhi and Iran. Chanminar, Daulatabad. Tombs, monumental structures over graves of rulers and royalty was a popular feature of medieval India. Some well known examples of such tombs are those of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Humayun, Abdur Rahim Khan I Khanan in Delhi, Akbar and Itmadullah in Agra. According to Anthony Welch, the idea behind the tomb was eternal paradise as a reward for the true believer on the day of judgment. Take a look at this figure, Tomb of Itmadullah Agra. This led to the paradisiacal imagery for tomb construction being with the introduction of Quranic verses on the walls. The beginning with the introduction of Quranic verses on the walls, the tomb was subsequently placed within paradisiacal elements such as a garden or near a body of water or both. As is in the case of the Humayun's tomb and the Taj Mahal, which follows the Charbagh style, surely though such vast expanses of structured and stylish spaces could not have been intended only to signify peace and happiness in the next world, but to also showcase the majesty, grandeur, and might of the person buried here. Saryas, a hugely interesting feature of medieval India was the Saryas, which ringed cities and dotted the vast space of the Indian subcontinent. Sarais were largely built on a simple square or rectangular plane and were meant to provide temporary accommodation to Indian and foreign travelers, pilgrims, merchants, traders, etc. In effect, sarais were public domains which thronged with people of varied cultural backgrounds. This led to cross cultural interaction, influences, and syncretic tendencies in the culture modes of the times and at the level of the people. Take a look at this image. Structures for common people. One of the architecture features of medieval India was also a coming together of styles, techniques, and decorations in public and private spaces of non royal sections of the society. These included buildings for domestic usage, temples, mosques, concourse, hermitages of Sufi saints, and dargahs, commemorative gateways, pavilions in buildings and gardens, bazaars, etc. Take a look at this image, Mandu. Take a look at these images. Hoshang Shah's tomb, Hindola Mahal. The city of Mandu is located 60 miles from Indore at an elevation of over 2000 feet and overlooks the Malwa Plateau to the north and the Narmada Valley to the south. Mandu's natural defense encouraged consistent habitation by Parmara, Rajputs, Afghans, and Mughals as the capital city of Gauri dynasty 1401 to 1561. Founded by Hoshang Shah, it acquired a lot of fame. Subsequently, Mandu was associated with the romance of Sultan Baz Bahadur and Rani Rupmati. The Mughals resorted to it for pleasure during the monsoon season. Mandu is a typical representation of the medieval provincial style of art and architecture. It was the complex mix of official and residential come pleasure palace, pavilions, mosques, artificial reservoirs, biolics, embattlements, etc. In spite of the size or monumentality, the structures were very close to nature, designed in the style of arched pavilions, light and airy, so that these buildings did not retain heat. Local stone and marble were used to great advantage. Mandu is a fine example of architecture adaptation to the environment. The royal enclave located in the city comprises the most complete and romantic set of buildings, a cluster of palaces and attendant structures, official and residential, built around two artificial lakes. The Hindola Mahal looks like a railway viaduct bridge with its dispropor- disproportionality, large buttresses supporting the walls. This was the audience hall of the Sultan and also the palace where he showed himself to his subjects. Batter was used very effectively to give an impression of swinging Hindola's walls. Jahaz Mahal is an elegant two-story ship palace between two reservoirs with open pavilions, balconies overhanging the water, and a terrace built by Sultan Ghiyasuddin Khilji. It was possibly used as his harem and as the ultimate pleasure and recreational resort. It had a complex arrangement of water courses and a terrace swimming pool. Rani Rupamati's double pavilion perched on the southern embattlements afforded a beautiful view of the Narmada Valley. Baz Bahadur's palace had a wide courtyard ringed with halls and terraces. A madras called Asharfi Mahal now lies in ruins. Hoshang Shah's tomb is a majestic structure with a beautiful dome, marble jali work, porticos, courts, and towers. It is regarded as an example of the robustness of Afghan structure, but its lattice work, carved brackets, and toranas lend it a softer hue. Jahaj Mahal Mandu, Jama Masjid Mandu. The Jama Masjid of Mandu was built on a large scale to accommodate many worshippers for Friday prayers. It is entered through a monumental gateway topped with a square dome beyond which lies an open courtyard flanked with the columned cloisters on three sides, also topped with smaller domes. The building is faced with red sandstone. The mimbar in the Qibla Livan is supported on carved brackets, and the mihrab has a lotus bud frame. Provincial style architecture of Mandu is regarded as too close to the structures of Imperial Delhi to make a bold statement of local traditions with its surface embellishments of jalis, carved brackets, etc. And the lightness of the structures was an important intervention in the narrative of the Indo Islamic architecture experience. Take a look at this picture Taj Mahal. From 1632 onwards, it looks nearly 20 years and 20,000 specialized workers to complete this monument. Taj Mahal was built in Agra by Shah Jahan as a mausoleum for his deceased wife Mumtaz Mahal. Taj Mahal was the epoch of the evolutionary architecture process in medieval India. The sublimity of the building comes from its orderly, simple plan and elevation, amazingly perfect proportions, order, symmetry. The ethereal quality marble has lent to it the perfect setting of bog and river and the pure outline of the tomb silhouetted against the sky. The, the patina, the Taj, has lends it a different hue at various times of day and night. The Taj complex is entered through a monumental red sandstone gateway, the opening arch of which beautifully frames the mausoleum. The tomb is laid out in a Chahar Bagh, crisscrossed with the paths and water courses interspread with pools and fountains. The structure is placed on the northern extremity of the Bagh instead of the middle to take advantage of the river bank. A straight path through the Bagh reaches the plinth of the tomb, from whither is accessed the floor terrace of the edifice. At the corners of the terrace stand four tall tapering minarets 132 feet high. The main body of the building is topped with a drum and dome and four cupolas forming a beautiful skyline. The plinth, the walls of the structure and the drum dome are in perfect proportion to one another. Towards the west of the white marble faced tomb lies a red sandstone mosque and a similar construction in the east. To maintain balance, marble for the building was quarried from the Makrana mines in Rajasthan, and this white edifice is constructed with the red sandstone of the surrounding structures. The tomb structures is a square with chamfers forming eight sides, recessed with deep arches. The structural stylization produced in the elevation of the building a variety of contrasting plants and shade and solids and voids effects. All sides of the building, the twin elevations of floor to roof and roof to pinnacle atop the foliated crest of the dome measure 186 feet each. The interior arrangements of the mausoleum consist of a crypt below and a vaulted octagonal tomb chamber above with a room at each angle, all connected with corridors. Light to every part of the building is obtained by means of carved and perforated jalis set in the arched recesses of the interior. The ceiling is as high as the facade, creating a void with the help of a double dome. Four types of embellishments have been used with great effect for the interior and exterior surfaces of the Taj Mahal. These are stone carvings in high and low relief on the walls, the delicate carvings of marble into jalis and graceful vaults, spiral ornament on the pillar, and the creation of arabesques with petra dura, yellow marble, jade, and jasper on walls, and tombstones and geometric designs with tessellation. Lastly, the art of calligraphy is used with the inlay of jasper in white marble to write Quranic verses. Calligraphy provided a decorative element on the walls and a continuous connection with the Almighty. Gol Gumbad. Gumbad is situated in Bijapur in the Bijapur district of Karnataka. It is the mausoleum of Muhammad Adil Shah 1626 to 1656, the seventh Sultan of the Adil Shahi dynasty of Bijapur 1489 to 1686. Built by the ruler himself, it is a striking edifice in spite of being unfinished. The tomb is a complex of buildings such as a gateway, a Nakar Khan, a mosque, and a sarai located within a large walled garden. The Gumbad is a monumental square building topped with a circular drum over which rests a majestic dome, giving the building its nomenclature. It is built of dark grey basalt and decorated plasterwork. Each wall of the tomb is 135 feet long and 110 feet high and 10 feet thick. With the drum and the dome, the building rises to a height of over 200 feet. The tomb has only one square chamber and the dome with a diameter of 125 feet. It covers an uninterrupted floor space of 18,337 square feet, the second largest in the world. Drum of the Dome, Whisper Gallery. The tomb chamber contains the burial place of the Sultan, his wives, and other relatives, while their real graves lie perpendicularly below in a vault. Accessed by stairs, the hemispherical masonry dome over a squirrel base was constructed with the help of pendatives. These pendatives not only lend shape to the dome but also transfer its weight to the walls below. New valuating systems consisting of arch nets or stellate forms in squinches were created to cover angles formed by interestingly arches. The building has an amazing acoustical system. Along the drum of the dome there is a whispering gallery where sounds get magnified and echoed many times over. At the four corners of the building are seven stored octagonal spires or minaret like towers. These towers house staircases leading to the top dome. The drum of the dome is decorated with foliation, a heavily bracketed cornice resting on corbels is a distinctive feature of the facade. Gol Gumbad is a fine convergence of many styles located in medieval India. Monumentality, majesty, and grandeur, integral aspects of the architectural experiences in India, are associated with the buildings of Bijapur, while its structural particularities of dome, arches, geometrical proportions, and load bearing techniques suggest Timurid and Persian styles. It is made of local material and is decorated with surface embellishments popular in the Deccan. Four towers at the corners are reminiscent of turrets attached to mosques such as Qila Aikuna Masjid and the Purana Qila in Delhi. Take a look at this image. Jama Masjid, Delhi. Plan of Jama Masjid. Qibla, minaret, assils, mihrab, tank, moksar screen, main entrance, courtyard shan, cloisters, Levan. Jama Masjid, large mosques spanning huge spaces also dotted the landscape of the Indian subcontinent in medieval times. Congregational prayers were held here every Friday afternoon, which required the presence of a minimum of 40 Muslim male adults. At the time of prayers on Fridays at Khutbah was read out in the name of the ruler and his laws for the realm were also read out. In medieval times, a city had one Jama Masjid, which, along with its immediate surroundings, became the focus of the lives of the people, both Muslim and non Muslim. This happened because a lot of commercial and cultural exchanges were concentrated here, besides religious and indirect political activity. Generally, such a mosque was large with an open courtyard surrounded on three sides by cloisters and the Qibla Livan in the west. It was here that the mihrab and the mimbar for the imam were located. People faced the mihrab while offering prayers as it indicated the direction of the Kaaba in Mecca. Exercise. Question number 1. What do you understand by the term Indo Islamic or Indo Saracenic architecture? Can you think of another Nomenclature. How did this architecture evolve in India? Question number 2. What types of buildings were added in India in the 13th century? Question number 3. Name for styles of Indo-Islamic architecture. Question number 4. What was the significance of a fort in medieval India? What were the strategic devices adopted in the construction of forts to confuse or defeat the enemy? Question number 5. Which forms of secular architecture evolved during medieval times? What significance did these buildings have in the socio-cultural lives of contemporary people? Question number 6. How does Mandu showcase the fact that humans adapt to their environment? Question number 7. In spite of being unfinished, how does a Gol Gumbaz symbolize the grandeur and majesty of Indo Islamic architecture? Question number 8. Which are the places where the dead are buried? How do these differ from each other? Question number 9. Why is the word perfection associated with the Taj Mahal project? A. Have you visited any medieval structures in your locality, region, country? Document the following aspects of the structures. A. Period, region, political association. B. Typology of the structure, secular, religious. C. Purpose of the structure. D. Architectural forms located in the structure. E. Decorative forms on the structure. F. Materials used for construction of the structure. G. Is it conserved? Should it be conserved? H. The present location and status of the structure. We just learned some glossary. Agate, a fine grained variegated chalcedony. Its colors arranged in strips, stripes blended in clouds or showing moss-like forms. Amalaka, ribbed lenticular or globoid part resembling the amala, Indian gooseberry fruit, growing the top of the North Indian style shikara, and a semicircular structure typically used for Buddhist stupa. Arabesque, an ornamental design consisting of intertwined flowing lines, leaves, and flowers, a feature of the Indo Islamic architecture. Ardha Mandapa, semi hall in front of Garbhagriha of the temple. Ashtadikpalas, guardians of the eight directions. Ayudas, weapons, better, slope in the wall. Bodhisattva, in Buddhism, Bodhisattva refers to the previous births of Gautam Buddha. Bosses, circular embossed decoration, usually in stone of contrasting colors, located on either side of an arch and within the spandrels. Buddhism, a region originated in the 16th century BCE with the preachings of Buddha. Burin, a pointed tool of conflict or stone with a transverse edge made by the removal of one or more flakes, used for working bone, antler, and ivory, and perhaps for engraving. CE Common Era, replacing AD or Anno Domini era of the Lord. Calligraphy, the art of producing decorative handwriting. Chaturasra square. Chatra, umbrella like structure on top of the stupa. Chhatri, cupola resting on four pillar with a dome or a pyramid shaped roof. Chaharbagh, a square walled garden divided into four by interestingly water channels. Chaitya arch, semi-circular arch with pointed tip in the center towards the top. Chaitya, place of congregation and worship. Chakra, wheel, a symbol used for Buddha's first sermon at Sarnath. Chamfer, to cut off the edge or corner, thereby increasing the numbers of sides. Chet, a flint like material, usually black or dark brown in color, although it has a conchoidal fracture like a flint, it is not so fine texture. Chevron pattern, V-shaped patterns, corbel, the stone or wooden bracket laid horizontally to support a cornice or an arch. Cornice, a molded roofline. Crystal, a high quality clear colorless glass or an object, especially a vessel or ornament, made of such glass. Dado panel, lower part of the interior wall when it is finished differently from the rest of the wall. Some excellent examples are Hoysal temples of Halibut Jamil Jamali Kamali tomb in Mehrauli and Halibut Mehrauli and Turkish Sultan's palace in Fatehpur Sikri, Agra. Dargah, shrine of a Sufi saint where the saint's grave called Mazar is located. Dhammachakra Pravartana, first sermon by Buddha at Sarnath near Varanasi. Dravid, normally used for people, culture, language, and architectural style of South India. Dressed stone, stone which is cut to size and polished. Encastic tile work, inlay in ceramics, faience, blue colored artificial glass like material faience was used in a variety of ornaments and pieces of jewelry. Gahpati, big land owner or big farmer involved in farming and trade. Garbhagriha, scantum sanctorum, Gopuram, main gateway, the storied structure over the entrance or entrances to the enclosing walls to the premises of a temple. Harmika, small square fencing atop the anda or semicircular dome of stupa. Imam, the person who leads a Muslim congregation in prayers. Over a passage of time, this position became hereditary. Intaglio, the process of cutting a design into the surface of a small hard stone or gem. Jag Mohan, rectangular or square hall in front of the sanctuary or main temple, a term used for temple architecture of Odisha. Jainism, one of the most ancient religions, it is a path of victory, Jinnah, over life's stream of rebirths through ethical and spiritual practices. Jali, ornamental perforated lattice screens with arabesques, star motifs, and other geometric designs such as pentagons, hexagons, octagons, and circles. Jasper, a variety of quartz that may be red, yellow, or brown, long used for jewelry and ornamentation. Jataka, stories of the previous birth of Buddha. Jati, caste, kalash, wild mounted pot, ornamental pot design decorating the shikara of a temple. Keystone, a central stone at the summit of an arch, cosminar, distance marker or milestone in the shape and size of a tower. Kuta, a shrine of square plan. Lapis lazuli, a rich blue semi precious stone. The main source in the ancient world was the mountains of Badakhshan, northern Afghanistan, from where it was traded widely. Lapis lazuli was used as inlay in ornaments, jewelry, seals, etc. Linga, Paulas, the form in which Lord Shiva is being worshipped. Mahamandapa, big hall in the temple. Maha Mahaparinibbana, death of Lord Buddha, liberating him from the cycle of life and death. Mandap hall. Maqbara, mausoleum or tomb. Medallion, circular discs in the spandrels of arches decorated with the motifs or calligraphy. Mihrab, prayer niche indicating the direction of Mecca. Mimbar, Stepped pulpit in the Jama Masjid or Friday mosque from where the khutbah was read. Muklinga, Paul, Paulus with face, multiple foliations, many cows in an arch, mural, paintings made on the wall of caves, buildings, or temples in fresco or any other style. Nagara, North Indian style temple architecture. Nakar Khan, drums house from where ceremonial music was played with was usually situated over the gate. It was a popular feature in Mughal palace complexes. Natya Mandapa, dancing hall in front part of the temple, or Rangamandapa, Panchayatana, main temple surrounded by four shrines in each corner. Pendentive, a triangular bracket in the angle of two walls connecting the base of the dome to its supporting arches. Pamsana, a building temple which tends to be broader and shorter than Latina type. Paitra Jura, pictorial mosaic work using semi-precious stones found on walls, cenotaphs and marble jollies in the Taj Mahal. Polychrome, an object or a work composed of or decorated in many colors. Pradakshina, circumambulation, Qibla Liwan, the wall of the mosque in the directions of Mecca. Qila I Kuna Masjid, built by Humayun or Sher Shah between 1530 and 1545, it is located inside Purana Qila in Delhi. Quartz, a variety of stone found in many parts of the world and variously used for tool making and in ceremonial contexts. Varieties of quartz include agate, chalcedony, chet, flint, opal, and rock crystal. Rekha Prasad or Latina. This type of temple has a square shikara at the base and its walls curve slowly inward towards the top. Rupkar Shilpi, artisan. Savamandapa, assembly hall. Sarsanik, a style of architecture popular with the Muslims in West Asia, particularly from the 11th to the 14th century. Sarai, Dharmashala or a traveler's lodge. Shala Ayatasara, elliptical. Shikara, superstructural above the Garbhagriha in the North Indian style of temple. Shilpa texts, ancient Indian texts, manual describing the elements and principles of art and architecture to be practiced by artists. Shraman, a Buddhist or Jain sect whose followers use it to wander from place to place. Sovereignty, the authority of a ruler state ought to govern himself itself absolutely independently. Spandrels, the almost triangular space between two sides of the outer curves of an arch and a rectangular enclosure. Squinch, an arch spanning the corners of a square chamber and acting as a support for the dome. Stitite, a greyish or greenish stone which is generally soft and can easily to be worked to make figurines, vessels, seals, and other objects. Stellate, arch nets arranged in a radiating pattern like that of a star. Sthapati, architect. Stupa, a mound like structure containing relics of Buddha or Buddhist monks worshipped by Buddhists. Stucco, a fine plaster used for coating wall surfaces. Suzerainty, a sovereign state having some control over another ruler state who that is internally autonomous. Tablet, a regularly shaped separate panel or a representation thereof, often bearing an inscription or image. Terracotta, literally baked earth, mainly used to refer to fairly coarse porous clay that, when fired, assumes a color ranging from dull orange to red. Tessellation, decoration on walls and floors with mosaic. Turan's carved serpentine shaped ceremonial gateways. Trefoil, three curves in an arch. Turquoise, a semi precious stone, sky blue to pale green in color, highly prized for its use in jewelry by many ancient cultures. Vallabi, subtype of Nagara temple. Vanga, ancient name of the Bengal region. Varna, four divisions of the society based on professional, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra during ancient India. Vesara, term used for the independent style of the temple during the time of the Chalukyas of Karnataka. It consists of a combination of the northern Nagara and southern Dravida styles. Vihara, place of residence of a Buddhist monk. Vijayanaina temples having a rectangular building with a roof that rises into a vaulted chamber. Viman, superstructures over the Garbhagriha of a shrine in the South Indian temples. Vault, a scroll or spiritual ornament on a pillar. Voiture, a wedge shaped or tapered stone used to construct an arch. Vritta, circular. Yakshas and Yakshinis, demi gods and demi goddesses, protects of natures and resources. Thank you. An introduction to Indian Part 1 textbook in fine arts for class 11 was completed. Thank you.